Hey gang, welcome back to Death Curse Society. We got a lot to talk about here, and we're going to chop it up and serve it to you in little itty bitty bites that we like to call Stories Around the Campfire.
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Hey, come back!
First up on Stories Around the Campfire, we got a chance to review the new movie available on video on demand right now, Jacob's Wife, starring the one and only Barbara Crampton. Bodies start to pile up when a woman discovers a new sense of power and an appetite to live bigger and bolder than ever before. Man, oh man. Colonel, you want to start us off on this one?
Oh, of course. As everybody knows, my infatuation with Barbara Crampton knows no bounds. So much so that if I was to make this movie, it would have been called Colonel's Wife. I would have starred as the husband. The only difference is I wouldn't have been old school, because to be honest, that's pretty much what this movie boils down to, the patriarchy that everybody's trying to come crashing down now.
Mm-hmm.
But I really dug that about this story, because it also wasn't so much of a man-hating film as some of the other ones we've seen. And now that we have the foundation laid, let's build up. It turned out to be a pretty good vampire movie.
Mm-hmm.
It had some lulls in it, some hills and valleys. But overall, it was a good movie. I had very few complaints. Really, the only main complaint I have is the main vampire. It's like, what direction are they going with this guy on the look?
Mm-hmm. It was a woman.
Oh, there you go. See, I didn't even fucking know. That's how woke I am. I don't see gender. At the end of the day, a little bit of spoiler alert, and I'll shut up on my initial thoughts. The vampire looked like if Nosferatu and Mr. Barlow had a baby, and this is what we get.
Do vampires have babies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, an evil stork comes by in the middle of the night, drops it off. You guys don't know this story?
I'm just gonna stop you right now. Ziggy, how about you? Initial thoughts on Jacob's Wife?
I was just morbidly curious to see where he was going to go with that, but
no, I'm not.
We don't
not want to know where that story ends.
We don't need the hard R on this show. I get it, man. I didn't know what to expect. Reading that synopsis doesn't mention vampires at all, so takes a little while to get to that. They're fun jabs at the traditional standing, how a man, the Patreon, and this and a submissive woman. There's just fun jabs at it. It's not like in your face and trying to tell you like this. And it's good. Barbara Crampton is still got it. As Colonel said, there are some pits and valleys, but there's some great laughs in it. There's some great horror and gore in this.
Mm-hmm.
You get an ending that's kind of funny and tongue-in-cheek, and this is an entertaining film. I found it to be worth my time. I enjoyed it.
Domestic dispute, non-violent.
Yeah, CM Punk is in this too, by the way.
That's another thing. I was watching, I was like, is that CM Punk? No. Oh, that is!
The deputy?
Bill Brooks, his real name.
Man, I tell you what a pleasant surprise this was. I didn't know what to expect when I started this movie. I hadn't seen the trailer. We hadn't talked about it at all. It kind of flew under our radar somehow, even though Barbara Crampton was in it. Colonel mentioned it kind of last minute. We threw it on there. I watched it, and holy shit, I think that made me, the fact that I didn't know anything about it, maybe made me appreciate this a little bit more. It's a dark comedy.
That comedy's not always there, though. That comedy's not always there.
No, but there's some laughs in this you're just kind of like, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but it's funny. This definitely brings the gore almost to the point in some cases where it's at a ridiculous level. And I know you guys appreciate that, but it works. And Barbara Crampton, I know you guys mentioned her acting and everything. She was also a producer on this. I didn't know if you noticed that. She's still great and weird. And there's some moments where she just has these little tics that you're not quite sure why they're there, but they work for her. Can you add any more to Barbara Crampton's performance, Ziggy?
She really, literally does it all that you would expect in any horror trope type movie. She does it all. She does it all. It's good though. It's really good. She carries this fucking movie, man. There were times like my score was adjusting as I was watching it. I was like, and then I would get the payoff to why they were doing what they were doing, and they won me over in the end for sure.
Yeah.
So, but she definitely is great in this, and I love the character. I liked it. I really liked it.
I love the fact that she was able to do such a strong transformation from the doting, submissive wife, standing next to the preacher while he's greeting everyone as they leave the church and everything, to the couch carrying, just badass woman that she became after she had been changed. I thought that was great. Colonel, did you appreciate that transformation and her acting ability with it?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, you pretty much summed it up perfectly. It's like, when we're first introduced to her character, again, she's a very subdued, quiet housewife, and she goes through the change. And what's amazing, they didn't point out in the film, but I really like is it's just the drastic change in her character altogether. The way she acts, her hair, her fashion, totally different woman, 2/3 of this movie through. And I really enjoyed seeing her. She's enjoying her freedom, but she loves her husband. And then by the time Act 3 comes,
yeah, I don't want to give any of this away. Yeah, I don't want to give any of this away. Another thing I thought that was kind of neat about this was it's refreshing to see a story about a new vampire that isn't a love-struck teenager. I think that helped me appreciate this even a little bit more. Fuck you, Twilight. Colonel, did that make a difference to you at all? I mean, was it weird seeing like an older woman, middle-aged woman being turned into a vampire?
To me, it wasn't weird because I understand, like you're mentioning, you're getting to the common trope for vampire movies. It is usually younger people, not people, middle-aged. Mm-hmm. But the joy for me about a vampire movie is anybody could be a vampire. So that's not something I'm necessarily latched to when I'm watching these vampire movies. Well, yes, I do realize this. It didn't really hinder how I was going to take this movie. It was just, okay, we got a vampire movie, let's go. Because let's not forget, the first victim in this movie is a teenage girl.
Right.
But obviously, she's just a minor character. It just kind of drives the plot along it for a little bit, but it really didn't affect me. I just like a good vampire movie, man. I don't care. It could be geriatrics at a fucking nursing home. I'd still watch it.
I was trying to describe this to somebody because there was a song in this movie, Bloodletting by Concrete Blonde, that was redone by someone that goes by the name of I Speak Machine. I think her name is Tara Bush, and she did a remake of Bloodletting. And I was telling somebody about the song, and they were like, "Oh, what movie is it in?" And I said, "Oh, it's Jacob's Wife. It's about a preacher's wife that becomes a vampire." And she was like, and she messaged back asking, like a young preacher's wife. I was like, "No, an old preacher's wife." She was like, "That's odd. I haven't seen an old lady vampire in a while." And I was like, "I don't think I've ever seen an old lady vampire." So, Ziggy, did that throw you off a little bit at all, or was that a refreshing look?
No, once you are cued in that's what's going on as vampirism, then it's like, oh yeah, and it's fine. But what I did appreciate were the modern additions to old vampire lore and legend. That was cool. Mm-hmm. Times that they did stuff like that, So I mean, they did some really neat things with the vampire material in this, hands down.
Right. I mean, sunlight wasn't necessarily that much of a danger, but ultraviolet light, yes, which I don't want to get into really, but
right.
You'll see it. It's pretty fucking cool.
Cool.
The gore, the effects, holy shit, buckets and buckets of blood. I know you guys love this shit. Like I said earlier, almost to ridiculous levels at times. Ziggy, lay it on us. What'd you think?
Yeah, man. That's the kind of blood splashing I like to see when a head is ripped off. Like I was, when we had a witness infection, that would have complemented that scene just that much more. Just another cherry on top. I don't want to go back to that again, but there is some top-notch use of the blood splatter in this movie. There's no CGI here, folks. This is the wet stuff.
Most of it is practical. There was some CGI at the very end with that, but I don't want to get into it.
Right. But it's visually, it's great and much, much appreciated by the Colonel and myself. I'll speak for him on this. You absolutely beefed up your score with me for the gore for this. Absolutely.
Colonel, don't let him speak for you. You're your own man. Tell me what you thought of the gore.
Oh, let me tell you about that gore, man. Oh, so refreshing to finally get practical effects, stage blood out the ass. Now, you call it a ridiculous amount of gore at times. I don't think so. If I think ridiculous gore, I always think of a little independent film called The Evil Dead. That is way more ridiculous and gore than this, while still so beautiful. I love it. But man, like Zach said, you got people popping fucking heads off like fucking pop cans, like and I fucking loved it, man. I got a hard on for this one. But hard ons aside, the fucking gore was fantastic. I loved it. It just nothing is better than fucking practical effects and stage blood and lots of stage blood. Oh, it was marvelous.
That was my putting my heart on aside. And I know this pleased the Colonel as well. He already kind of briefly mentioned a nip of it. And yes, I said nip because Barbara Crampton shows a little breast in this. At least her good one. Because she only whips one out. Colonel, did you like that?
Oh, fuck yeah, I appreciated it. She still got it, man. Gravity hasn't grabbed hold of them suckers yet. So it looked like I was watching, I had a flashback to fucking Reanimator, man. I was like, I applaud her. Good for you, Barbara. You don't have to do that anymore. What are you doing?
Let me bring that back.
Yeah, you bring that back and you get that shit going on the fucking meter. All right. I was, again, not necessary. I really didn't need it. I applaud her for still doing it. She don't have to. She's beyond that.
Exactly. That's kind of my thinking is, you think many actresses, once they get past a certain age, don't want to do that, don't have to do that. A lot of times aren't even asked for it. But she's a producer on this. I think she wanted to do it to show the level of that scene. Ziggy, did it work for you?
Did you say tits?
I did not say tits, but we can say tits.
Or tit. No. You can say, technically, hold on, time out. Technically, you can say two tit. You can say tits. Because there's a nipple shot in the bathtub through the soap, the bubbles.
That is true.
That's true. That's a set.
And then you get the other tit in the scene we're talking about. So yes, you do see titties.
That is the other side. And I thought that too in the bathtub. I was like, oh, there it is. I go, well, there. I would have been satisfied with that. And then lo and behold, here she is fornicating with a minister, and bam, it's out. And she looks great. Barbara looks great and much appreciated. Thank you. And shit, it's a horror movie. In every horror movie, some boob must fall. Okay, it's just this is the rules. This is the rule. We don't make.
But normally, it's some scantily clad teenager that's traipsing through the woods, not a 50, 60-year-old minister's wife.
Sometimes legends forego the rules. Damn it. We're thankful for that.
Fair enough. All right. We ready to rate this? Ziggy, why don't you start us on a Colonel scale, like 0 to 10. Somewhere in there.
This was the opposite. This one started out and I was kind of like, oh boy, this doesn't look so good. It looks like it's going to play like a serious movie. And then it goes all over the place, but in a good way. Yeah, Jacob's wife, I'll have to say, I'm going to just go below, man. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
How about you, Colonel?
This movie was practically everything I thought I was going to get in a good way. I mean, I kind of went in blind, but I had a feeling like I really think I'm going to like this movie. So when the spot opened up, I took my chance and threw this up. Jacob's wife, we got to watch this. Because I was really looking forward to this. Didn't let me down and got, one extra surprise I wasn't expecting. Gore out the fucking ass. If I'm going to do, I don't want to do the scale, but I'll fucking do it. My arm don't go like that. That's unnatural, but I'll give it a 7. It was really enjoyable. I really like this movie.
This got a little bit more ridiculous just talking about this movie than I expected it to. Like I said, this was a pleasant surprise. I did not see this coming. I did not know anything about this movie. And not knowing was half the battle, I think, in this. Unlike what G.I. Joe used to say. Fuck G.I. Joe. So, man, welcome back, Barbara Crampton. We haven't seen her in a while. I haven't, at least. I'm glad she was able to find the script and produce this film and star in it. I'm going to go with a 7 as well on this one. Yeah.
How come me and Zach had to do the dick meter and he didn't?
7.
Thank you.
Jacob's Wife. It's available on video on demand right now. Go and rent it. I actually bought this one just hoping it would be good.
Well,
and it delivered.
Dude, it was $8 to rent it, $7 on YouTube to rent it, or $5 to own it, standard definition. This wasn't the type of movie where you need the HD 4K. So fuck it. I bought the $5 version. It was fine. So I own it too.
I bought the $10 version. So it's stuck in my Vudu account now. Yep. I may watch that again. Go check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Woo!
Ooh. There you have it, folks. That's our opinion on the new release, Jacob's Wife. If you enjoyed that story around the campfire, stay tuned because we have more coming for you in the next few days. Wah!
Don't just sit there. Seize him, punish him, cut him down. I command you. I am the word and the giver of his laws. Disobedience to me is disobedience to him. Do it now, or your punishment shall be 1,000 times, 1,000 deaths, each more horrible than the last.
Yeah, we will see how the Lord favors you.
No, you dare not, you blaspheme. He will punish you. The jaws of hell will devour you. All of you. No.
Hello, Death Curse Society. I'm John Franklin, and I was Isaac in Children of the Corn, and Adam's Family, Cousin It, son. Death Curse Society. Check it out.
Hey, thanks guys for watching Death Curse Society. This is Red Crank here. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to go up here, hit that subscription button, make sure to hit that bell too so you get a notification whenever we drop some new videos. And speaking of different videos, bam, right over here we got a couple for you to check out as well. Check these out. Keep watching Death Curse Society. Thanks for tuning in. Woo!